Have you ever noticed how some people treat you like family when you are useful, but disappear the moment you no longer serve their interests? In the autumn of 1883, a tired inventor sat alone in a small workshop in Newark, New Jersey. The room smelled of oil, metal, and burnt wiring. Dust covered unfinished machines, bills piled up on a wooden desk. Outside, the world was racing into a new age of invention and industry. Only a few years earlier, investors, businessmen, and reporters had eagerly visited this same workshop. They praised his ideas, they shook his hand, they promised support. Now the room was silent. The man looked at a half-finished invention and quietly smiled. Because for the first time in years, he understood something that would change his life forever. Many people love what you can do for them. Far fewer people value who you are. His name was Latimer, and his story would become one of the most remarkable examples in American history of how a person's true character often shines brightest when others reveal theirs. Born in 1848 in Chelsea, Massachusetts, Latimer entered a world filled with obstacles. His parents had escaped slavery in Virginia and risked everything to reach freedom in the North. Even after arriving, life remained difficult. Racism limited opportunities. Poverty followed many black families. The future offered few guarantees. When Lewis was still young, his father suddenly disappeared after fears that former slave catchers might try to return him to slavery. The family struggled to survive. Many children in similar circumstances abandoned education and accepted whatever work they could find. But Latimer possessed an unusual curiosity. He loved learning. He studied books whenever possible. He observed how machines worked. He paid attention to details others ignored. At the age of 15, he enlisted in the United States Navy during the final years of the Civil War. The experience taught him discipline, resilience, and self-reliance. After the war, he returned to civilian life with little money and no powerful connections. He found work as an office assistant in a patent law firm. His duties were simple: deliver documents, clean offices, run errands. Most people viewed the position as a dead-end job. Latimer viewed it differently. Every day he watched draftsmen create technical drawings for inventors. He became fascinated. Instead of merely performing his assigned tasks, he secretly taught himself mechanical drawing. Night after night he practiced, line after line, sketch after sketch. Slowly his skills improved. Eventually the firm promoted him from office assistant to draftsman. It was an extraordinary achievement during a period when opportunities for African Americans remained severely limited. Soon his talent attracted attention from major inventors. One of the most important moments came when he helped prepare patent drawings for Alexander Graham Bell's telephone application. The timing was critical. Bell faced intense competition. Accurate drawings needed to reach the patent office quickly. Latimer worked tirelessly. The patent was secured. History changed. Yet, despite contributing to major technological breakthroughs, Latimer often found himself overlooked. Others received headlines. Others received recognition. Others received wealth. Still, he continued working, because he believed excellence mattered even when applause did not. As the electrical revolution transformed America, Latimer became deeply involved in improving electric lighting technology. At the time, Thomas Edison's light bulb was revolutionary but expensive and difficult to manufacture. Latimer developed improved methods for producing carbon filaments, making electric lighting more practical and affordable. His contributions helped accelerate the spread of electricity across America. Cities became brighter, factories became more productive, homes became safer. Millions benefited from innovations connected to his work. Yet something curious happened. Many people eagerly sought his expertise when they needed solutions. When problems appeared, they called Latimer. When technical challenges emerged, they needed Latimer. When businesses required innovation, they depended on Latimer. But once success arrived, some of those same people became far less interested. Recognition flowed elsewhere. Credit often traveled toward more famous names. The pattern repeated throughout his career. At first, the experience frustrated him. Who wouldn't feel disappointed? Imagine helping build technologies that changed the world while watching others receive most of the attention. Imagine solving critical problems while remaining largely invisible. Yet Latimer gradually learned an important lesson. A person's value is not determined by how others acknowledge it. Character is measured by what you continue doing when recognition disappears. Years passed. America entered a new century. Electricity spread across the nation. Telephone systems expanded. Modern industry flourished. The technologies Latimer helped improve became central parts of daily life. Meanwhile, many people who once ignored his contributions slowly faded from history. Some businessmen who had treated relationships as transactions were forgotten. Some opportunists who appeared only when benefits existed vanished from public memory. But Latimer remained, not because he chased fame, because his work mattered, his integrity mattered, his perseverance mattered. Later in life, Latimer became one of the few African-American members of Thomas Edison's elite group of inventors known as the Edison Pioneers. The recognition arrived slowly, but it arrived.
More importantly, it came from people who genuinely understood his contributions, not from those seeking personal advantage, not from those looking for temporary benefits. By then, Latimer had already learned something many people spend their entire lives discovering. Human nature reveals itself most clearly when circumstances change. Some people stay close because they appreciate your character. Others stay close because they appreciate your usefulness. The difference often becomes visible only after you can no longer provide what they want. When Lewis Latimer faced periods of struggle, many fair-weather supporters disappeared. When opportunities shifted elsewhere, some relationships faded. But he never allowed disappointment to turn into bitterness. Instead, he focused on growth, on learning, on creating, on becoming so valuable that history itself would eventually recognize his worth. When he died in 1928, the world was brighter, literally and figuratively, because of his contributions. Today, historians recognize him as one of America's most important inventors and engineers. His story carries a lesson far beyond technology. The true nature of people often appears when they no longer need something from you. Some will leave, some will forget, some will reveal that their loyalty was conditional from the beginning. But that revelation is not always a loss. Sometimes it is clarity, because once you see people as they truly are, you can stop chasing approval and start focusing on your purpose. Lewis Latimer discovered that truth long ago, and history rewarded him for it. The people who used others for convenience were forgotten. The man who continued creating, learning, and contributing despite being overlooked became unforgettable. Sometimes the greatest victory is not proving your value to others. It is realizing your value never depended on them in the first place.